Our intro music is provided by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, or the Pacific to the Atlantic to worldwide, you're listening to me, Gary, at Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Hey, tonight we got a great guest. Emmons is back on again, talking about his encounters with aliens and UFOs right after this.
Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give a buck or two. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support. The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
Well, looks like we had summer for 2 weeks here down at the compound, down at the harbor, and guess what? It's raining. Well, we had a little excitement here today at the mini farm. One of our goats got out. I'll tell you one thing, it did not want to go back into its pen. So like 2 hours later, we were chasing that goat around and around. It wanted to come in the house so bad. I don't know. Maybe it sees us walking up the stairs, going in the house all the time, and maybe wanted to come in and check it out. I don't know. Hey, tonight we got a great guest. We got Dave on again. He's had encounters since a little child with aliens and UFOs. Dave, are you there?
I am here, Gary.
Oh, how was your weekend, I should ask?
I've done a little bit of more, I guess, radio. You can say I did a show, I guess, yesterday, and I'm doing a lot of, I guess, internet talk shows, and I'm starting to get catch my pace, I guess, and that's good for you, Gary. I'm starting to learn a little bit here, and starting with you. On doing this internet thing. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here, glad to be talking to you, and I hope you all the best, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just really do. So,
well, tonight I don't want to get you nervous, but we're not just on the internet. We're on 34 radio stations also to go along with the internet. And don't forget, one of our biggest listenerships is out of the UK and Australia, and I hate to say it, Spain.
Oh, that's great. Now I feel more comfortable. No, I really do. I've been in front of live audiences up to 1,200 playing music and talking and doing some comedy. So, but I don't do much comedy now. The older you get, the less comedy you have. You should have more comedy to live better and live longer. But it's a serious thing, I guess. And also the things I'm going to talk about have been indentured in my mind, I mean, just burnt in there, that I'm looking for answers all the time to a lot of these things that's happened to me. So that's why I'm talking, and that's why I'm talking to good people like you on the air, to see if somebody else has the same experiences. I've been finding that there's a lot of people that are interested, but a lot of people are afraid to come out and talk about it. I've been talking about it for about, I guess, 9-10 years now, off and on, but never on the media like I am now. But it's find time that I get all this out so people will know before I want to burn out. I don't want to smoke out like I said before. But are you ready for some incidents here?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure all the listeners are, too. I mean, from what I gathered, too, Dave, this all started when you were a child.
Yes, 14 years of age. When a boy is 14, he doesn't think he's a child. He thinks he's the big boss, I found out that when I saw my first UFO with a good friend of mine, and we just saw each other 2 weeks ago, and we talk about the same story. And sometimes when we talk, we seem to find out more about what happened on that 1963 summer evening, about 10:30 at night. And we smelled this smell that smelled like sulfur, and we smelled that. And then the 10 transistor radio started having static, and then we saw lights. It was slowly coming over the neighborhood. We got up from the trees and got up on the road and started looking at it, following it with a flashlight. Well, the flashlight, I don't think, caught their attention. I think what caught their attention was us, too. And we got up in this empty lot, and we looked up about 60, 70 feet up. Lo and behold, there was like these toy tops that you spin, and it is kind of like a little chubby UFO, like a saucer, and it had like 3 decks on it, and the second deck had these windows in it, and like I said, wow, I don't want them creatures to be looking at me. I'm afraid to see them, and so we pinched each other to make sure that we were seeing what we were seeing, and we were, and we stood there for a little while, and I think something happened. It occurred. It's not that I think. I know from the missing time. Him and I cannot place the time. We knew it started about 10:30. I think it was after midnight when we finally got into our homes, and my mom was very mad at me, and I told her I saw a UFO, and she said, "I'll UFO your butt." And I said, "Oh, wow, I can't say much then." But this object was kind of dark on the bottom. It must have come through the atmosphere, and it had that ozone smell. And like I said, it had the portals, and it was kind of a chubby thing. Actually, it looked like one of those, what you call those Nazi flying saucers they had back in the day. One of the I guess, it looked like one of the designs of that. But we just saw a white light and 2 antennae sticking straight up from it. And they had to be antennas because I don't know what else it could be. They were like 2 rods sticking up. And so we kind of, I guess, must have been captured by some beam of light because an hour or so went by before we stood there and we saw. And when I regressed some of this in a dream, and I was sitting on a table, like a steel table, and I was trying to put on a shirt, and it was too tight on me, and I knew it was my buddy's shirt because I was a little bit bigger than him, and that's part of it that I remember. The other part I remember is when the craft was in the southwest as we were looking towards the southwest, and this craft took off due west very rapidly and disappeared in the clouds real quick. And I remember that part. So we didn't see the craft move. So apparently we had that missing time and something occurred that we didn't know about, and it took off in a different direction.
How big?
I don't know.
How big around in diameter, Dave, was the craft?
I would say it was about 30 feet, 35 feet in diameter, and it looked like it stood about maybe 15 feet tall from the bottom to the top stack. It was kind of like in 3 stacks or 3 layers, and it must have been about 30, 35 feet wide and about, I'd say, 15, maybe 18 feet tall.
It
must have been one of the little cruisers.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounded like one of the, little explorer ships that they come off the mothership, to...
Right.
Yeah, interesting. And the color of it again, did you notice the color of it?
Yes, it was a gray metallic color, and that's what I normally see. If I don't see I've seen crafts that they were lit up at the bottom, and all I could see was light. But I've seen other, I guess you could say UFOs that were like dark gray in color, the metallic color. At night they may be like that, but during the day they may shine, and that's where you see the orbs. A lot of times during the day. But I told my buddy, I said something's happened there, and I guess a month or 2 months later, I had this lump in my testicle, and then I kind of felt around on it, and I looked, and there was there's a little cut hole in my testicle, only about a quarter of an inch or so long, and it was still red. So I pushed that thing out of my testicle, and I got it out, and it was kind of an ash color, a light ash color, and then it turned darker as I had it out. And I showed my mom, and she said, "Oh, throw that old thing away." And there again, my mom was there as a spoiler, So so I threw it away. Well, back then we didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. I didn't even know anything. Well, of course I was only 14, but I threw it away. But come to find out, when you think back on things, if you look at things, it takes you a little while to catch on to the little things that happen or occurred during your events. And that happened about a month or 2 months after I saw that UFO. So apparently they had us on board, and they put an implant on me. Now my buddy, he doesn't have experiences, and for some reason, I guess they don't come and visit him or talk to him. I don't know. He asked me the same thing. He said, "Why are you being contacted?" I said, "Are you see these things?" I said, "I don't know, and I still like to know the answer to all that, and that's why I keep putting this information out. I'm looking for answers. I'd like to know the answers. I usually say I'd like to have that knowledge and wisdom that they could impart upon me, and I wish I can regress the total dreams or the total experiences. I wish I can regress them in my sleep like I normally do. That's where the regressions come in my dreams, very vivid dreams."
Interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of people like Timothy Collin, who's been on my show several times, and I'm going to get him back on, I think, in July, that, had an implant, which Dr. Roger Lear